This thing was on, wasn't it? I hope so.
Hi, thanks for coming to Keeping History on Two Wheels. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell just so that you'll get notified whenever we have a new upload.
She's been cleaning up my mess, and it's just one more sleepless night.
So I'm still here in Little Rock, Arkansas with just a few days left, studying for the Chiefs course and the NCO course that will put me in the top 3 simultaneously. 27 years of military service under the belt and 2 to go for the culmination of what I would consider the most consistent part of this life that I could and would say has been anything but consistent. Civilian jobs that have been varied but always related to and in search of service for nation, state, and community. Too many wives to have been good for anyone, certainly those that are calm of spirit. And then there are sons, 3 to be exact, 3 beautiful, handsome, intelligent, caring, skilled, and educated, God-fearing boys.
I'm just counting on the stars now, and I'm just blowing in the wind, and there's no telling what you've been through, when you'll be back again.
I once gave a eulogy for someone that, when it was all over with, the main thing I could say about the man was that he raised and had been a good example to and for his kids. The definition of a eulogy is classical Greek, eu for well and true, and logia for words and text. Together, for praise is a special speech or writing in praise of a person, especially one who has recently died or retired, or as a term of endearment. That was a mouthful. One that is broad statement but direct. The eulogy that I gave described, for the most part, any guy USA. Fill in the name in the blank. But, and that's a big word, but the finale to this logia of praise was that he did a great job at raising his sons and daughters. That with all the children had gone through, they still thought of others when they made the final plans for their father's final rest. And today, while studying, I took a break, and while doing so, I pondered about the eulogy and about my sons. What exactly they may feel about me and what I feel about them.
I always knew we'd be together.
You see, my father was an average guy. In some areas, he was the greatest. And in some areas, he was the worst. But for the most part, he was just an average guy. He did teach all three of his kids that a good, strong work ethic was imperative to even having a mediocre life. That if you didn't work every day and do the best at that job that you could do, you could be, and more than likely would be, replaced. And without that job, you wouldn't be able to support the family that you had. Now, with that being said, the only relationship that any of us really had with him was a working relationship within the stores. You see, he was always and forever in those stores. Never was he at anything that any of we three children did, unless it was within the confines of those cinder block walls with coolers, rows of gondola shelving, coffee machines, and icy freezers. So if the relationships weren't there, then they weren't anywhere. Sure, the little spinning magazine racks of girly magazines behind the counter and the daily bagging of ice to sell for 99 cents from the coolers out front, and the stocking of the beer cooler during every shift, placed a roof over our head and food on our proverbial table. But it was not until he was wheelchair bound and nursing home confined that we got to spend any time with him that wasn't associated with the phrase, "Did you make the deposit?" I learned from him things like P&Ls, quarterly statements, daily reports, and weekly payroll, and the importance of secret shopping those nighttime clerks just to make sure that they weren't selling beer to minors. But the things I didn't learn from him were just as important. Things like the necessity of being in a church family, how to change the oil in the second most valuable investment in your life, how to build things with your hands, and how to show you care for your children, how to say "I love you" with such emphasis as to know without a doubt that it was true. How to show that even the smallest things that they did had his attention and approval. So with my boys, I always strive to amend that chain of events and to provide for them the need for being able to do things for themselves. Teach them that if you have a vehicle that needs repair, do it yourself. And if it's beyond your capability, watch those that do and learn. I do it and invite them to help me or watch. Little do they know, I just spent 2 hours on YouTube. As I am building things for Kelly out in the shop, I will invite them out to see what I'm doing, or I will anxiously await for the knock on the shop door and the ensuing question, "What you doing?" Now, that one very seldom comes. I do try to give advice that always leads to the question, is it right or is it the wrong thing to do? Forever attempting to show them that, well, there are decisions to be made, and that the smallest can have the greatest effect. Attempting to demonstrate for them that the feel-good answer can be the worst answer, and it can, in the long run, have disastrous consequences, and that sometimes the right thing is the hardest thing to do. My boys, all three of them, have very different personalities, but each have a heart of gold. One is forever with his heart on his sleeve, and the other that never shows his heart, and yet a third that it's hard to tell where his heart is. However, each are always ready and willing to and able to help others. They care for their loved ones in their lives with a passion that is unmistakable. I fear that this world will tear them apart because I haven't prepared them correctly for the things to come. You never have to worry where you fall with Parker. He gives his heart openly to those who will accept it. And Harry, well, he guards his, and proof is in your actions before he reciprocates. But because of that, once he does, you know he means it. And Joseph will try to act like he doesn't care at all, but have to leave, and he cries when you get back. But then 15 minutes after that, it's like you were never gone. And he's right back to being normal. I won't say that my father didn't love his kids, because I know that he did. He didn't know any other way to be. He had no good example, and I guess you could say that I didn't either. But in that, he did give me an example of what to do, just not how to do it. A 13-year-old child needs to have time with his father, not just time with his father at work only. Sure, teach them how to work, but teach them how to live. I have two of my boys about to have birthdays this coming week. And as they get older, I hope more and more every day that I, like Jimmy, leave them with a legacy of being the best human beings as possible. They don't have to be CEOs, just someone that people look up to for how they treat others, how they treat and teach and lead their families, and how they love one another. Thanks for watching Keeping History on Two Wheels. Get out there and check out some history. Or better yet, make some of your own. Always remember, every trip starts with a step, and that step starts with you. Heart that struck at midnight. Did you run out on the ball? I wrote this just a short time back, September to be exact. But it seems to have a more poignant effect on my soul these days as one of my boys struggles with understanding right from wrong, appropriate and inappropriate, and respect from disrespect. It hurts my soul to see them going through this. So I thought that I would take this and put it to video in hopes that it might have a positive effect on someone out there. Or at least, if you are going through some of these things, that you will know that you're not alone. This is what I wrote back in September while Keeping History on Two Wheels was still in Little Rock, Arkansas.